Hey guys, it's been a minute. I'm Dan Hogan, CEO and co-founder of Ember, and welcome back to Tax Tips number 6. Now I know we've touched on how to structure your business, which you can find in a previous video over here, and tax deductions for sole traders, which you can find in another video over here. But today, what we're chatting about is everything to do with your self-assessment return. Now it's that time of the year where keeping a hold of those receipts and tracking all your expenditure can really pay off. So what even is self-assessment, you might ask yourself? Well, it's a way in which HMRC can actually collect income tax and national insurance contributions from you, the self-employed. That's whether you're a sole trader, partner, or limited company director, and it's collected in the form of what's known as an SA-100, which is a self-assessment return. Now today we're going to be focusing on sole traders alone. For some additional context, if you're an employee of a company, it's actually that business that remits what's known as PAYE, I know, death by acronyms, through to HMRC, but as your own boss, it means it's your responsibility to tell HMRC your gross income and also the business expenditure for the tax year. Next up, when do I have to register for self-assessment? Well, you want to register for any one of the following 3 reasons. 1, you're earning over $1,000 in a tax year before deductions. 2, you need to prove that you're self-employed in order to qualify for tax-free childcare benefits or apply for a mortgage. And number 3, you want to make voluntary national insurance contributions so that you actually qualify for state benefits, aka the pension. If any of the above is applicable for you, you'll need to register before the 5th of October in the year in which you wish to file for. For example, if you want to file for April 2022, you'll need to register by October the 5th, 2022. Following on, when do I need to file my self-assessment? The deadline for self-assessment by snail mail, if you're that way inclined, is the 5th of October, whereas online, you've got until the 31st of January. If you do opt to file by post, you'll need to send in a self-employment supplement form, known as an SA-103, alongside your return. To avoid the unnecessary paperwork and give you back your precious time, we recommend just to file online. Finally, when do I need to pay my self-assessment by? Your first self-assessment payment is due on the 31st of January, 1 year after the tax return submitted. For example, if you're filing for April 2022, your first payment is due the 31st of January 2023. Unfortunately, this is also when your first payment on account is due, which is essentially a payment in advance for next year's tax bill, and it's based on your last submitted tax return. And we know this can catch some business owners out, so it's important that you use really good software in order to help you save for this in real time and make sure you're putting money aside for that tax bill at the end of the day. One more payment you need to keep in mind is known as the second installment, and it's due on the 31st of July. But don't stress if all these dates are going over your head, because we're covering off on payments on account in detail in our next tax tips. So make sure you subscribe when it drops. So that's it for today's session. Thanks for tuning in, and as usual, if you've got any tax related questions, please leave them in the comments and we'll try and answer them in our next tax tips. Please like, subscribe, share with all your friends, and we'll see you next time.